Hi, I'm Daniel Norcross. Alongside me is the chair of Surrey County Cricket Club, Oli Slipper, and we're going to discuss the proposed changes or not to the County Championship from next season. I want to have a little chat with you about the proposed restructuring of the County Championship. It's been in the news a lot lately. There's a lot of uncertainty for members and some concerns as well about what the system's going to be next year and going forward. Can you just describe for us the options that are on the table?
Well, I think that the options on the table are either a vote for 13 matches in a new system where there will be 12 teams split into two pools of 6 in the top division and then a 6-team bottom division, where you will play the teams in your pool, and then right at the end of the season there will be some form of playoff proposition where best plays best in a sort of a 13th game to decide who is the county championships, or effectively a no vote for that and continuation of 14 matches.
So just to understand, what's driving this? Because we've had a system in place that's worked pretty well now for quite a few years. Why are people pushing for a reduction from 14 to 13 games?
I think probably the biggest driving force has been the PCA, who did some form of vote over the winter where they had a majority of their members think that there is too much cricket generally, and that isn't just around county championship, that is around the entire domestic summer. So I think they've probably been the driving force, and then obviously there are certain counties that probably see the county championship as a loss leader, who believe there should be less of that form of cricket because it effectively costs them money. But that's certainly not, our case.
And so the drive for a 6-6 and another 6, I suppose, is attractive for some counties because that allows 12 sides to start each year with an opportunity to win the county championship. We currently only have 8, 10, sorry, in the top division and 8 in the second division. So I suppose that's another attractive prospect, but it then means that you've got 12 teams competing in what is in effect a split first division. And so you're not necessarily going to get best v best throughout that, are you?
No, and that's our major concern with this 13-game proposition. We're strong believers in best v best. If you look at cricket as a whole, or the revenues generated from cricket, Test match cricket still generates, I think, something like 70% of the game's revenue. And we just feel this will be a dilution of quality. Our preference was to move to an 8-team top division where each side plays each other twice. So there's more symmetry in the season. You don't have situations like this year where we might play the team that will ultimately finish bottom probably only once in the season rather than twice. So, and actually, if you want to develop test cricketers, we feel that you should be playing best v best. And so going from 10 to 8 was our preference, but if it ends up sticking at 10, so be it. But going from 10 to 12, we feel will be a further dilution of, quality in the county championship.
So where are we at the moment with this? Because just so as our viewers understand, there needs to be a 2/3 majority for change. So in this case, that means 12 counties out of the 18.
Yeah.
Where are we at the moment with the negotiations?
I think it's probably in the balance, to be honest. I think, we certainly understand there's probably at least 6 counties that share our view that we should continue with a 14-game county championship season. We didn't get any real traction around an 8-team top tier amongst the other counties, but certainly we feel that there's at least 6, maybe 7 other counties that believe that we should continue with a 14-game county championship.
Well, if that's the case, then does that look to you as your feeling, therefore, that we're going to end up with the status quo effectively for next year?
I mean, who knows what's going on in the background, but that would certainly be our preference, the status quo.
The only concern then might be that this issue might rise up again, might it? Because presumably any change that does take place would then be locked in for a period of time. Are we able to sort of draw a line under these if the status quo continues next year, or is this going to be a debate that we're going to be revisiting?
We're very hopeful that, I think the game definitely doesn't want this sort of disruption every year. So I think whatever decisions are made now will probably be set in stone until 2031, which is where the current future tour programme with the ICC sits, so that there's sort of continuity until then at least.
Just to be clear, the views that you're expressing on behalf of Surrey, are those views that are reflected in membership as well as your own personal views?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I guess I've got three real stakeholders. I've got the players, the staff, and the members, and there's a unanimous majority that believe that the 14 game season is the right way to go. Certainly, we've had no members come to us saying, please reduce it. The only feedback we've had from our members and from the General Committee is, please try to keep this as a 14 game season. For us at Surrey, the County Championship is the blue ribboned event of the season. It's the thing we care more about winning than anything else. Obviously, we've had some success over the last 3 years, and we've got an exciting month ahead as we play here today against Warwickshire, have what looks like a top of the table championship potential decider next week against Nottinghamshire. So, and it's not just us, it's the players. If you speak to any of the players, the thing they feel most proud about in their careers is winning a county championship. And for our membership, they love it as well. And we're seeing record crowds. I think we've already had over 70,000 people come through the gates this year. We're going to beat all of our records yet again. We're more than double we were 5 years ago. We've got behind it from a commercial perspective. We now have things like our Red Bull Festival, where we had 7,000 people come in. We have our Schools Day. Similarly, I think we had 6,000 school kids come and watch the County Championship. So we're very proud of that product here. It's the thing that we care most deeply about, and that's why we want to keep it as a 14 game season.
So the counties that want change, they're presumably also being advised by their members, because most clubs are member clubs. Is your sense that actually there are members out there from other counties who want a reduction? Because the obvious sort of feeling that I would get is that a member wants as much cricket as possible. They don't want to see their membership not devalued, but reducing the number of opportunities they've got. There's already issues that members have across the country for August, for example, where a lot of counties have very little cricket. It almost seems counterintuitive to think that there are members around the country who want a reduction.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk for other membership groups. Certainly we know that our members are very favourable for a 14 game season. There are certainly some of the other counties that have had a degree of pressure from their members to continue at a 14 game season. But I guess if we look at our own membership and our audiences, we've doubled the size of our county championship audience in the last 5 years. I think this year will be more than double where we were in 2019. So I guess our members are voting with their feet. They enjoy coming here. We put on an amazing proposition. Our membership, we feel, is extremely good value, and what we don't want to have to do is reduce the amount of content that our members are getting.
And lastly, I guess the players themselves, you've canvassed their opinions as well, I guess. I know the PCA are interested in a reduction of matches across the season, but there's already 2 T20 Blast games that have gone.
Yeah.
And I know that only sounds like 2 days, but it isn't in effect, is it? It's the day of travel, it's the moving around, and that's part of the issue the PCA have got, is the fixtures coming thick and fast.
Yeah.
How do the players feel about a reduction? Are they? It wouldn't be surprising for people to want to have fewer work days. That would be an entirely natural thing for people to want to do. But is that the vibe you're getting from the players here as well?
No, I mean, we did a WhatsApp poll on our players' WhatsApp group, and we had a unanimous 31-0 to continue at 14 games. And that's even some of the white ball cricketers voting on behalf of their red ball colleagues. So, our view is, we don't want to reduce content. They certainly don't want to reduce content. I mean, there is a huge amount of money that is about to come into the game of cricket from the 100 proceeds. And I think certain PCA membership groups, probably with smaller playing staff than us, might think that there is a huge amount of cricket for them because they're playing in every single game, all formats. But actually, the money that comes into the game will be allowed, or the counties will be allowed to reinvest that into revenue generative infrastructure stuff, which I think will improve the balance sheets, improve the P&Ls of all of the counties, the smaller ones in particular. And I think over time that will allow them to increase the size of their playing squads, have more potential specialist red ball and white ball cricketers. So I think it's a moment in time where the game hasn't seen the commercial benefits of the 100 proceeds, where people are taking a vote now. And what I don't want to do is, that vote shouldn't determine the future. So I'm hopeful that, you know, we've got enough counties that share the same views as us, and we can continue with a 14-game season.
Richard Thompson of the ECB, and formerly of this parish, of course, felt that it wasn't so much a number of fixtures issue as a scheduling issue. I think he's been quoted as talking about the schedule, and I think that is an issue for members as well, is it not? Are you hopeful that there might be a way of altering the fixture list so that it becomes a little less chaotic? For a lot of people, it's quite tricky to move from one competition into another, then back round to another one. Do you see that as an issue that could be resolved?
I think there will be an improvement in the schedule next year. I mean, the situation we have currently, where you have sort of the blast in 2 early windows and then that big break and then the quarters and the finals day in September, that is going to be fixed as part of this. So I think that's the biggest issue with the schedule. So, you know, we have a situation where, you know, the last couple of years where we just haven't had the same squad of players in our quarter-final or finals day that we've had during the group stages. So that will be a huge improvement. I mean, the biggest issue of all was the blast, and we've seen declining numbers across the game. So I think, you know, 20% down here at Surrey from the heights of the blast, and this sort of, I guess, a smaller, improved, better blast. We think we can recover that and probably surpass the levels we were at the height. So I think that will be a really big benefit. I think there's a general consensus we're going to try and stop the amount of very long overnight travel for the players around the blast, which I know the PCA had major concerns with, as do we. So I think those improvements will certainly help fix the schedule.
And lastly, when do we think that a decision will be made? Because, you know, as we get to the end of the season now, fans get a little bit lachrymose at the prospect of the 6-7 months off. And the thing that keeps it going is what's going to happen next year.
It will be within the next week, yeah. I think there is a PGC, which is the Professional Game Committee meeting next week, and I think the decision will be made then.
Oli, thanks ever so much.
Great, cheers, nice to see you.